just want to know your measurements, and I just have to open this drawer though. So you always put your water in your bowl first, and we use slurry and or warm water to speed up our set if we have a slow set stone. And when you put your stone in, you just sprinkle it in, and until you get to know your stone, just pre-measure it, because you want to make like a little something that looks a bit like an iceberg, kind of like that. And then you just let the water soak up the stone. It's kind of wetting all the molecules. And once it looks like it's pretty wet, then you start mixing it. And that looks like about the right consistency that you want. All stones are different. I'm going to recommend a nice, easy one. This one that I'm using is nice. I'm going to give you guys the info on that. So it feels like kind of like whipped cream when you're working. You have to have a vibrator, otherwise you're not going to get your bubbles out. You don't have to use one of those fancy whip mixers if you just don't overwork it. Now I leave water in my impression, and then you just run your first one through really fast. And I'm pushing against the vibrator with this tray. This is just a plastic tray, but I'm pushing and it's forcing the stone to flow through. And what this is doing is just removing the surface tension, because you're going to get bubbles, and then I just knock that out. Now you should be able to have a nice easy pour. And I'm just dropping it at one corner. You can see it dropping off the spatula, and it's just flowing around, and I'm pressing it into a kind of a arch, like I put pressure now, and I'm letting it flow over here, and here comes a bubble. So we'll just give it a bit of a tap, and then you can pretty much pour it in like that. And what I do, what I've done for a long time, is I use the old style model form, and I just rest it on there. Kind of keeps it, you can put it on an angle. Sometimes it just helps hold it. And turn the vibrator off now. And if you need a little base, like for the lab, just take one of these plastic things, or anything, rather than working on the counter. Put a little puddle there. It helps if you have the right tools. A round spatula for mixing, and a flat one if you want to make a bit of a base. I'm just making it kind of a little hoof-shaped little blob here. And as soon as that sets up a tiny bit, then I'm just going to flip it over and make sure the heels are, when I say the heels, I mean these things, the ends of the model, have plaster, so you don't have a big void there. Some stones take forever to set, so you might just put a big pile here instead. If you do that, I'll show you what you can do. So alternately, you can do this when it's set up a little bit more, flip it over, or you can just pile it on. Instead of using this, you can pile it on, kind of, because you don't need a big base usually for lab work, but you do need an adequate base so that they have something to hold on to. A little bit of a overhang. And always make sure it's thick enough there. And I always flatten it, because when you get on the trimmer, if it's a big round thing, it's just really hard to control it, and that's how you sometimes end up having an accident on the trimmer. Like losing a piece of your model. So it's starting to set up a little bit. So then I just take this thing that's nice and flat, and I press it on. But what you want to do is make sure you don't have too much plaster hanging down here, because when that sets, it's going to make it harder to take it apart. So just remove your excess, and once it's just firmed up a little bit, then you can just gently push. I'm going to get a clean one so you can see. You just try to push it on there so you have a nice flat surface, and then let it set. Here, that's that lesson.
And now we wait.